Good morning. I can't even sit back in this chair. It's white or gray plastic and it's just too hot in the sun. And I moved myself out of the sun, which is mostly, for the most part, because when the sun hits this phone, it overheats the phone and things shut down. Ended up with a bad ending to the video the other day because of that. It is Tuesday morning, and it's just a crying shame what's going on across the country. I've seen a couple of people have been pointed out as being the leaders of the LA riots. They're young adults, and they don't have the same last name, but apparently they're spouses. They're both Jews, by the way. They're both Ashkenazis, and they head up Indivisible, as they call it, or Invisible. And the problem is they are helping with these riots. Now, of course, I shared that with other people. Like, this is the enemy. These are the enemies. They're taking down the country. But it dawns on me, if I know them, if I can find them, why are they not in custody? Why have the authorities allowed them to run free? And I'm going to tell you right now, it's because they've been given license to do this. This whole thing is a big trap for Americans. And the problem is that those people are devout believers in their progressive way. And they're saying this is a right-wing takeover. Well, there's only one way to unite the country. Well, there's a couple of ways. One is we could unite it around the Bible. That would be helpful. As a matter of fact, if we don't do that, I don't think anything else succeeds. And of course, those are all atheists. So they're not going to be united around the Bible, but the rest of us need to do that and to repent. And probably the most important thing is to unite around the Constitution. If it's not lawful according to our Constitution, then the government's not allowed to do it. That's what we all have to agree upon. But at this point, the left, the progressives, and the rhinos have instituted all of these agencies with all of this funding to do the riots and to take us down. So there's no way to avoid fighting. They're going to force us to defend ourselves. Now, Thomas Jefferson explained how to get the republic back once it's lost. And basically what he described was dividing people up into groups of 100s, like Moses did in the Old Testament. He said that we should lock down our counties. In other words, we station men at the counties, and we don't let anyone in who doesn't agree with our views. Or I should say our view, which we're going to have a singular view, and that is that the Constitution is the law of the land. And in case you're wondering, this has been activated one time. It's been utilized one time. Jones County, Mississippi. The people in Jones County didn't want to have the Union soldiers sacking everything, burning things up, doing all kinds of rape, murder, or pillage stuff. There were some groups that were doing that stuff. And so the men of Jones County decide, fine, we can watch the highways and we're not going to let them in. And anybody that tried to get in, they killed. They killed everybody that tried to enter that county. And the North left them alone as a result of that. Probably the only county in the South that escaped. And in case you're wondering, they escaped what do they call those people? The carpetbaggers, which were a bunch of Jews. They were so bad that even General Ulysses S. Grant, even General Grant made orders getting rid of the carpetbaggers, the Jews that were predating upon the Southerners. And that's just to let you know that it was the Rothschild banking bastards who did that civil war to us, along with the Jesuits, and along with George Washington's wonderful secret society he started called the Knights of the Golden Dawn. Washington was not our first president. I think there might have been 3 presidents before him. And Washington made serious mistakes. He certainly wasn't perfect, and he certainly told a lot of lies. So, where these cities are scheduled, they're going to have demonstrations, and you have these dumbass Democrats that are in office saying they're peaceful demonstrations. What the hell is peaceful about getting hit by a brick? What the hell is peaceful about having your vehicle burned? What's peaceful about being attacked? This is going to get bad, folks. I think it's going to come down to a lot of hand-to-hand combat. So America has been over for quite a while. When the left rose up the way they did and they stole that last election, and the January 6th insurrection was an insurrection by our own government against the people. They set it up to refuse to certify the election properly. It wasn't a certified election. And if I can locate the heads of these people, heads of these organizations that have organized these riots, then what the hell are they still doing loose? They're loose because our government wants them loose. They're loose because our government wants us fighting among ourselves. They want to take us down. The people that run this country want to rule the whole world, and they already do. They have key people in every Western government, every Western country's government, and the Eastern countries as well. I'd like to be able to say, oh, we were just dumb and we were corrupt and we took the bribes and we sold out. Our politicians sold us out. No, it's a lot worse than that. So you got to decide, are you going to pick up arms? What about if you have to defend yourself? Because there is a verse in the Bible, and I've been trying to look this up, and I can't make a determination which version it's in. I'll have to look it up somehow. But I read this in there. I swear to God I did. I just haven't been able to find it. So if you can find it, please help me out. There will come a time when you will look for a police officer and you will not find one. There will come a time when you will look for a fireman and you won't be able to find one. I always wondered when that prophecy and how that prophecy would be fulfilled. But you got to remember, the evil ones cooked the books. They screwed with the Bible and the translations and all of that, and they gave us the playbook by which they dominate us and by which they operate. Doesn't matter what you or I believe, as much as it matters what they believe, and they're serving the Satans. So I'm just astounded. There's a woman called Politic Girl or something like that out of California. She's a real good looking woman, don't get me wrong, but she's ugly inside. And she's got 380,000 subscribers, and people worship her and thank her for what they're doing. They need to realize that's an FBI agent in an FBI organization. The FBI is behind all of the extremes inside of the country, purposely to keep us divided, purposely to get us to fight among ourselves, purposely to get us to destroy ourselves. So the riots are scheduled in Phoenix for the 14th of this month, 14th of June. They've got everything scheduled across the country, and you can go look it all up. I'm not going to waste any more time with it. Once I came to the determination that this is the enemy, we need to go get them. We need to take them into custody. And I got to thinking, what the hell's going on with Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and that crypto bitch that's head of DOJ? That's right. She's Jewish and she won't tell you the truth about herself. They're all in on it. They're going to take this country down. There's no way out of it at this point. It is one hell of a trap, and you and I have earned it. Oh, we don't talk politics. Yeah? So you let the bastards take you over without even giving an intellectual fight? You don't even know your ass from a hole in the ground. Look, folks, they screwed with our Constitution. The Constitution, Bill of Rights, the amendments aren't even right anymore. We need to revert to the original 13 amendments. The War of 1812 was over the fact that Thomas Jefferson didn't like the central banks of the Rothschild, and he took it away, the charter, and the attorneys got us into the War of 1812. That's right. That's why they came up with the 13th Amendment, stripping all Bar Association members with any and all citizenship. And we need to embrace that law, that amendment. That's why the South seceded from the Union, and they gave the North ample warning. You cannot elect that bar bastard as president, Abraham Lincoln, whose real last name should be Rothschild. His grandfather was a Rothschild. His father was A.A. Springs of Alabama. He had no father named Lincoln. He was a 3-in-1 man, a 3-in-1 race man. Part black, that's right. Part Jewish, that's right. And part American Indian. And he was somewhat confused, and he did his best, I think, towards the end to take a stand for the country. But eventually, he got set up. I, myself, personally believe his own wife shot him and set up John Wilkes Booth as the fall guy. John Wilkes Booth was there just to kidnap the president, not to kill him. They were going to take him out on a ship, get him addicted to opium, and then after about 3 weeks or 6 weeks, they were going to release him on the streets of Washington, D.C., and he would be disgraced. And then Mrs. Lincoln, who had a certificate of lunacy, would have had him all to herself. Abraham Lincoln had fathered 2 children by another woman, and Mrs. Lincoln was pissed off. She pulled the trigger behind his ear and killed the President of the United States. And for at least 2 years after that assassination, Congress refused to vote to give Mrs. Lincoln her widow's pension, her widow's benefits, because they knew she was the fucking assassin. May Yahweh bless.